live right now.
Okay, I'd like to greet each and every one. A good day from the East Coast of DC. I just want to say apologize here. We had some a good session, and then same time we was kind of waiting on some Facebook relatives to come here and to be in tune. We just want to go live, kind of just elaborate and be transparent and on our efforts here. We are, like we always been doing, we're trying our best for our Native American Church way of life. I just want to thank our legislative chair, Mr. Wilson. I want to thank our legal counsel, Justin Jones. And then also thank all the tribal leadership that attended this BOD task force here today. We had a pretty good turnout. It was really a good informational kind of update. We had some chairmans in here. We had some lawyers in here. We had NARF in here. We had a pretty good room full of knowledge, room full of good education, where they we all was in tune of all what was been said, so going further, as Native American Church way of life, just like we always say, we ain't ones to be putting ourselves out there and trying to be some kind of way about our way of life, but when it's being challenged, and then when it's being exploited through kind of basically spiritual abuse for a way of life, and there's a lot of things out there we could go on and on about, but our main focus is this holy medicine, Mescaline, and I'm really glad and happy that we could be here and share what we need to address and advocate for. So going further, I just want to kind of give you an update as NACNA, wishing you all a good, happy 2024. To all our NAC families, may this year be better, happier, and healthier for you. And remember, most of all, to be thankful. This month of last month, January, the new calendar year, I hope it all finds you all safe and well. We're coming upon the goodness of our way of life. And NACNA is looking forward to another productive year. Thanks to all the officers, the chapters, and Native American Church membership for making 2023 a good year for Native American Church. We're making legislative efforts and advocating for peyote and our way of life as a new to all of us. But we are moving along with prayers and efforts from the past, present, and the future. NACNA has a lot more to do. We will rekindle the efforts that were made before us. Thank you to all that have been in a good, sincere support of NACNA's efforts. We want all our relatives to be included. Last month there was a tribal consultation at the United States Patent and Trademark Office. They announced a formal tribal consultation and requested written comments on the issues involving genetic resources, traditional knowledge, and cultural expressions. These topics are being discussed at the World Intellectual Property Organization. It is the undertaking on how best to protect our federally recognized natives. NACNA would like to thank all the peyote tribes, for this effort, and those that were on the webinar. And if you all would go back to our joint statement with the NACNA and NCAI and Oklahoma, this trademark office, this patent was mentioned. Today we're thankful that NACNA got to share our viewpoints and address our concerns. We have until end of February to submit written comments. The FDA is another entity mentioned. Maybe this year we could hear from FDA and DEA and the Department of Interior. The executive order, the draft proposed executive order that NACNA authored is going to open doors and opportunities. It will make the executive branch of the federal government responsible for executing the laws of the United States of America. It's a notice for them to pay attention to the affairs we have, whether they have to educate themselves or where they can just put it to the side anymore, where they can't just, leave it to the side, and where they have to put us in their policies and the budgets. The executive order is a powerful tool. Indian nations will be covered from tribal government to ceremonial content. It is all in this executive order. Rather this medicine be selfish. We only wanted to focus on this peyote. We wanted to include all our native brothers and sisters. It's going to cover language, all ceremonies, or all native medicines of this land, sacred land and sites and traditional foods. It's been over 30 plus years since the federal government has done anything for their NAC membership since the ARFA movements. The executive order is written by grassroots relatives in a simple, self-explanatory, humble, sincere, coming from the heart manner. NACNA is working with tribal leadership to move forward and support. The tribal lobbyists appreciate all the peyote tribes that are willing to help with good efforts, and all our Indian nations will be covered. We must all make that unified effort to the White House and federal government. January 25th, 1994, ARFA 103rd Congress, Second Session, Public Law 103-344 was spoken and acted on. It's been 30 years since anything has been done. This law is being violated every day. If there are concerns and problems, there is no office to call. Or if anyone wants to meet on an issue, that's what we're doing. We're doing what we're doing here today, 2024, through our advocating efforts in tribal government because of these treaties and sovereignty that this was set in place for tribal nations. So today, the laws we're governed by need to be revived. No one has paid attention to this law. What is the federal government going to do about it? NACNA is not messing with ARFA. We are reaffirming. We still stand by it. So basically it just needs shine a light on more and more enforcement. So there needs to be some good clarifications, some specific lines for peyote, mescaline, and peyote's natural habitat. The reason ceremonial was put in there in 94 amendment was because of the sacredness was recognized in it. We don't want mainstream interests messing with our holy medicine. We want them whoever else, to leave our sacred medicine alone, please. We all know what's good for the future. Native American Church membership, whether you're independent or state chartered, we need your involvement. NACNA officers, delegates, and chapters are making these advocating efforts, while we have other members out there selling our ways and getting paid to pray. We all have teachings and protocols we have to live up to. We have a tremendous responsibility as Native American Church members to the peyote, believing, praying, ceremonial people to endure our way of life is safe, protected, and instilled in our children and grandchildren. Native American Church members and organizations spend little time sitting together and brainstorming ideas, encouraging one another and motivating one another. The more time we waste, the peyote lands are being disturbed by the mainstream interest. We have decriminalization on the table. So I encourage and challenge all the Native American Church members to be in tune and make these efforts needed for our holy medicine. We all have duties and responsibilities to uphold to, because if we don't, we're not preserving this peyote and we're not protecting it either. So tribal and Native American Church members, let's make that good, awesome effort Native American Church is making every effort for the future, whether we get our return calls or whether or not, if anything was passed or motion done, we will continue these efforts. So be in tune for 2024. So with the goodness of all these good movements here, legislative movements, and making these good, humble, sincere efforts here from grassroots relatives, I really want to commend my drummer on this side over here, Mr. Ryan Wilson, and my Cedar Chief boss over here, Ryan. I want to thank them very much for bringing their A game all the time, bringing their A game and bringing their champion advocating skills, So it's really awesome that we can collaborate and unite and do what we need to do. So these past few days, we had some good contacts, some good meetings with our representatives, the Senate affairs of the, they're want to help. It's just how to go about it. So there's different. We've been putting markers down different areas. We've been trying to be in tune of Capitol Hill. We all know it's a fast pace, vibe over here. So we're trying to do the best that we can, not for us, but for our children and our grandchildren that are coming up. We want to go home and tell them that, it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay in future days to come. We don't want these mainstream interests, to do any more harm that they have already done. We might be late in the game, from all these pharmaceuticals, but it's better late than never, because we don't want to see families, future days to go in dispensaries. Go get enough for, some a prayer meeting. It's on sale over there at so-and-so. We don't want to get to that kind of expressions, for prayer. So with that being, said, then basically we're trying to patent our medicine, Mescaline peyote. So it's really undertaken that us as practitioners, they say there's 350,000 members, so we encourage you all to be involved, take notice and take action and of all the efforts was taking place, so very fortunate that the Reuben Snake and different ones that was very involved in this, Ted Strong and different ones. I could name some people, I might forget somebody, but nevertheless, there needs to be light on this ARFA, so I just want to express that. And basically, we're trying to advocating for the landowners as well, because we're up here trying to get some funding, because this is probably the only program that don't have a funding for it. So we're trying our best to for these landowners, and not to mess with their rights or any kind of thing like that. But our main concern is this holy medicine. We want it to be safe. We want it to be have plenty of it for our future, like that. So I just want to touch base, and I just want to thank my, my wife here. She's always supporting the efforts we're doing. Sometimes we have to leave a bill to the side just because we gotta come out here. Our organization, we don't have a budget. We sometimes, I feel bad when somebody, has to miss work and don't get paid, but, we got to do what we have to do for this medicine and worry about all those kind of other things, later, because we all know this medicine has done wonderful things for everyone as a family, so I just want to express that, and just like we had a gentleman here just a few moments ago, and no medicine around or anything, he expressed himself. This lawyer said, "I can feel this medicine." that was a kind of a eye opener in a way, and because he could just these movements of my legislative chair and my legal counsel, how they put things and intertwine all the goodness about it, opening ears and, opening doors. A door might shut over here, but another one will open up over here. So we're trying every avenue, my good relatives. So I just want to say that, and may God bless each and every one of you, and do the best that you can. And we wish you all well, whatever chapter, whatever organization you may belong to. So everything we're doing, we need our tribal government to weigh in on it. We could be up here, talk to these legislations till we're blue in the face, but it needs to come from our tribal government. So that's why we encourage tribal leadership to be here today, and really thank Mr. Lee Wan Tyler here. He's in the presence of this live Facebook. So he was probably the first one that just came up here just for these kind of advocating. So I really want to commend Shawnee Bandit Tribe for this good effort from our setting an example. So we try to do good things because we want to do good things for our way of life. We don't want to be any old way. We don't want to be our children to Googling something, how to do this or how to do that. We want to hear it from our grandmas and grandpas. We want to exercise their teachings. We want to exercise their prayers. So I just want to say about that much, my good relatives. May God bless each and every one of you. So at this time, I'll turn this time over here to Mr. Ryan Wilson here. So this gentleman here, he was having a good, happy little life, until I kind of got him involved in all this this goodness of this way of life here and advocating, But my brother is really awesome. And I was teasing him. He said, "Man, you could talk stripes off a zebra." That's how good my brother is here. So I just want to say that, put a comma there. So I'll turn this time over here to a brother here.
Thank you, brother. And the respect's mutual, likewise. I'm gonna provide a couple updates for you, and we wanted to do this live because things are happening live, and they're happening every minute over here. And this is an exciting day. It was a day of noteworthy news to share with you, to share with Indian country, to share with our Native American church relatives. The first thing I want to start with is to let you know why we're here. We're at the Executive Winter Council session of the National Congress of American Indians. And this is the oldest and largest intertribal organization advocating for Indian country and our sovereignty. And why we're here, we just concluded, and this is our 5th time that we've met, the National Congress of American Indians, Native American Church Peyote Task Force here. And the president of NACNA is the chair of the task force, President Brady, so he presided over this meeting and had a few special guests. The idea of this sprung up years ago, and I want to share this with you. This is the first resolution back in 2009, and this established the task force. So what was a hope and a prayer once upon a time back in 2009 has come to fruition. And we had this room full of tribal leaders here just a few minutes ago as we broke, and we too want to thank Lee Wan and the Shoban people. And I say that he's the coalition of Peyote tribes that we've formed. He's the leader of this, so we appreciate it, and I'll hold to you. And I want to say thank you to your people for sharing you too, that you could come out here, that you can attend meetings with us, that you can be part of this task force as well. The second resolution I want to share with our good relatives is this one here, and this was passed just a couple of years ago. This was resolution 2209, and it's affirming support for the American Indian Religious Freedom Act as amended and calling for federal preemption as it pertains to the legalization and or decriminalization of peyote, Leucophora williamsi, and its byproducts. So this National Congress of American Indians resolution, the voice of Indian country, of federally recognized tribes, came together and defined mescaline and peyote as the same. And they also acknowledged the congressional intent of the American Indian Religious Freedom Act and its amendments 30 years ago. The congressional intent was that mescaline was peyote as well. And this calls for federal preemption over these state initiatives, legislative initiatives, state assemblies, and their bodies to legalize mescaline. And what it calls for is that federal Indian law supersedes these state initiatives. And this resolution's not old, it's been shared around, but we're trying to, like Brother said, shine a light on it a little bit brighter now because of some of the challenges in these efforts to acquire mescaline by non-Indians. The last one, Brother touched on the proposed. It's not an executive order at this time, it's a proposed executive order. And this is support the establishing a White House initiative on advancing equity, protection, and preservation of American Indian and Alaska Native religious and ceremonial freedom. This resolution makes it the official policy of the tribes here in America to support what NACNA, our brother organization, Native American Church Oklahoma, the other individuals out in Navajo land that helped put this proposed executive order together. This is the endorsement of that. What it means is when we take this to the White House, we can say Indian country is behind it. This is a very important resolution. This passed in New Orleans 4 months ago. And so we're using that. And we want the administration to keep their word, which was to defend and protect American Indian, Alaska Native Hawaiian religions, ceremonies, and the cultural protocols that go along with them. The last thing I wanted to show you guys as well, again, this is the joint statement with National Congress of American Indians, Native American Church North America, and Native American Church Oklahoma to the Patent Trademark Office requesting tribal consultation. And what Brother had mentioned, and Brother Justin's going to go into it a little bit more, but this tribal consultation is the first time in the history of the United States government that the Department of Commerce, where Patent and Trademark Office is under Department of Commerce, has had tribal consultation with tribal nations, Indian nations, federally recognized tribes, government to government consultation over intellectual property, over traditional knowledge, over genetic resources, and traditional cultural expressions, also known as stories, songs, prayers, all of that. And why this is mentioned here today is because we only have until February 23rd. So the Coalition of Peyote Tribes is putting their comments together to address this, the cultural exploitation, the efforts by pharmaceutical companies to exploit mescaline, to exploit peyote, the efforts that are going on at the state level to try to legalize this, and also the efforts by the Psychedelic Renaissance community, which is funded heavily by Dr. Bronner, by Cody Swift, by the MAPS people, Rick Dobbins, this whole coalition of non-Indians that's trying to create sacred knowledge from our way of life and put it into the public domain. And what we're here today, and what we met with these tribes about, was to say enough is enough. We're going to make every effort possible to express ourselves through tribal consultation, through letters, through resolutions, through our physical appearance here on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., in our nation's capital, to try to put a halt to that, what they're doing. And we have a very special message, too, for the collaborators, that enough is enough. We need to come back down to earth, come back down to the grassroots level, the TP level, the Hogan level, and get back to our core values, which is this is ours. Creator gave it to us, and we're going to protect it. So these are some of those. And the Native American Rights Fund attended this task force meeting as well. We have a very special thank you to John Echohawk, and we appreciate his service. We appreciate NARF. We appreciate the 30 years that they stood by us as well, and we were really happy to see him in here. They created this document. It's called Tribal Implementation Toolkit, and you can call NARF to get a hold of it as well. And this talks about why they had this consultation. It was because the World Intellectual Property Organization and their intergovernmental committee is trying to define what rules are they going to go by in international treaties to protect indigenous cultural knowledge, to protect genetic resources, to protect cultural expressions, and to protect our intellectual property. That's the whole part of this consultation. This come out on the Federal Register, and if you're acting surprised or that you didn't hear about it, we've been expressing the need to engage in this now for almost 4 months. But I want to share a contact for those of you that are interested. Get your pens ready. And this is the new Tribal Affairs Liaison for the Department of Commerce, their Office of Policy and International Affairs, the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And I'm going to give you the email, and then I'm going to give you the phone number, so get your pens ready. This is Susan Anthony, and her email is Susan, SUSAN Anthony, ANTHONY, at uspto.gov. That's Susan.Anthony at uspto.gov. And her phone number is 571-272-8459. So any inquiries for where you want to send comments, you can contact this person. You can also contact NACNA. If your tribes want to weigh in on this, we urge you to contact us as well. This Peyote coalition of tribes that was here, even including Navajo Nation. We want to help. We have talking points. We have ways that briefing papers that'll help you respond to this tribal consultation. But the record closes February 23rd. So those are a little bit of the updates. We had a wonderful meeting this morning with the chairman of the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs. This is the first time we met with him, Brian Schatz, the senator from Hawaii. We met with his majority staff leader, Jennifer Romero, and we met with other supporting staff over at the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs, which a couple hours ago we come out of that meeting. We talked about the appropriation process, money for conservation. We talked about the need to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the American Indian Religious Freedom Act amendments of '94, and to have a congressional oversight hearing to talk about the success of that, and also where we could strengthen the American Indian Religious Freedom Act, how we can make it have greater teeth, how can we protect peyote habitat, protect mescaline as well. And that was a wonderful meeting. We also had a morning meeting with Congressman Cuellar. His congressional district encompasses all of the last enclaves of naturally occurring wild peyote. And we met there and talked about how complicated this is, the complexities of it with private landowners, with interest groups, with the need to protect the American Indian Religious Freedom Act and protect Indian country. And we're making headway there. So we thank Congressman Cuellar, we thank his staff, Max Raymond, we appreciate that. And that's kind of the short update here. And we have the rest of the week, and we'll have some more updates. We'll probably go live, later. But in my closing report to you, I want to, as I always do, I want to urge you to think about what's happening out here. And we're in our nation's capital, and one of the things they're celebrating this year is the 50th anniversary of the Administration for Native Americans. Prior to that, 60 years ago, Lyndon Johnson ushered through Congress the Economic Opportunity Act. Why I mention these two things, it's because this was the emergence of tribal leadership in education, in law, in administration, and in tribal government. And this never-ending march of self-determination, even expressed through the last Biden executive order to advance self-determination in this new era, it's always been about Indian country defining our future and what we carry on into the future. And it's not gonna stop. We have to keep marching forward. And I asked my brother Justin if he remembered this quote, but neither of us were born back then. In 1962, at the inauguration of Navajo Chairman Raymond Nakai, which was attended by John F. Kennedy, he said, "The days of the Navajo listening to instructions from non-Indians is over." And this was a message not just to Navajo people, but all across Indian country. And Indian country heard it loud and clear that there was a new generation ready for change. And the order of that was to change the relationship with the federal government, for us to take our rightful place at governance and self-reliance. And this also crosses over into spirituality and our ceremonial way of life. And so, with that simple message today, I ask you this. We have a moral obligation to take care of ourselves. We have a fundamental responsibility to advocate for ourselves. And this issue that's come about now, without any tribal consent, without any tribal authorization, we have a new realm of actors that are completely rogue, that aren't accountable to anybody, even making up certifications, making up ceremonies, making up consent, partnering with pharmaceutical companies, partnering with the psychedelic renaissance, completely to the detriment of tribal self-reliance, ceremonially, religiously, spiritually. And this altruistic word, what does that mean? What it means is what we're doing here. We give the gift of our spirit, the gift of our intellect. We give it to this way of life for free. We don't ask anything in return. When somebody gives you a gift, whether it's a Pendleton or material or something else, a real true gift, it's nothing for free. So I ask you this, Cody Swift. When you bought that land, was that an altruistic gift, or did you want something in return? And why, after all these years, why is Marion Vallot still the executive director of IPCI, and the executive director of the Indigenous Grow Medicine Fund, and the director of the River Styx Foundation? When are you going to give the gift for real and let it go? You don't need to be in a teepee down there eating medicine. That's not your land. That's Indian land now. It's all of ours too. We thank IPCI for managing it, but it's our land. You need to go back, stay in the Bay Area, wherever. Be altruistic, be real with that gift. And this Association of American Indian Practitioners, another organization come out of nowhere, they're making up indigenopathic medicine and handing out certificates. That needs to end too, and we want you to be aware, even this Indigenous Urban Collective, we're monitoring, we're watching, we're creating a truth commission at NACNA as well to keep an eye on all of these things. And I want to thank Sutton King, who said in her recent post that she's accepting all accountability. That's a good role modeling for the other individuals that have been involved in these other issues. I'll just put it that way. I hope you mean that. And your certificate, practitioner, medicine woman, whatever that was, we appreciate it too, because that's also more documentation that'll be going to this intellectual property issue about how our ways are being appropriated. So I leave you guys with that thought. We're in a difficult time now. These are hard challenges. It's not a time for us to back down. We have to be respectful, but we have to be honest. And if we're going to be honest, we all know there's things happening in our world of prayer that ought not be. And we can stop it. We could stop it by unifying, and we could stop it by telling the truth and coming out. So we're happy to be here to talk to tribal leaders about this, to show them what's happening, to illustrate what's going on so that they're aware as well. And we're happy to partner with National Congress of American Indians. And tomorrow we'll be hitting the hill again. And I'm going to go ahead and update you guys when we get back to Indian country as well. Aho for your time.
I'd like to thank Mr. Wilson here for update on this legislative chair and touching base on all the updates as far as legislation, and then making some good some comments, and basically just the reality of things today. You know, it's like we always been saying, we got to do what we need to do. You know, and I'm really glad and happy that I have Ryan here. You know, with helping with the legislation and making all these good efforts here. And so, that being said, I'll turn this time over here to our legal counsel, Mr. Jones here. I really appreciate this individual. It means a lot more now here of the national organization where we have our lawyer actually participating, actually in prayer, actually eating this holy medicine with us. You know, as previous years, you know, we just had pro bono, you know, but actually to have somebody be making a prayer, making that song, and making those good efforts, you know, it makes things a lot easier for us to have that good mindset and a good peace of mind to know we have a good team here as far as the NACNA and all the chapters and all the officers here. So I'll just turn this time over here to Mr. Jones here for a good legal update here.
Yeah. So thank you to my two brothers here for the opportunity to be here on the Hill again, opportunity to present reality and facts to the elected leaders here in this town, to educate our tribal leaders that were here. I'm especially thankful for the tribal chairmen, tribal presidents that were present here today at our briefing, at our presentation with this National Congress of American Indians here today. I thought that was a very motivating time for us to see that. I'm especially thankful to the Shoshone-Bannock Nation for having their tribal chairman, I called him my brother, here several months ago, for being here with us. And my children, we were in a teepee meeting together, and they saw him talk and they saw him sing, and they even drum for him too. And they came back home and say, "You know what, Dad?" They said, "That's the coolest tribal chairman that there ever was." And so he's here with us again. Comes down to our level, doesn't have an entourage or anything. He's just one of us. That's what makes it very effective. And so I want to thank Mr. Tendoy for his presence here again, and all the other tribal leaders that were here throughout the course of our presentation here today. It's essentially moving in so many ways spiritually. When I left my home here the other day, and there was snow, it was cold, but one thing that was very, very, very moving for me was that we're in a holy month back home between the four sacred mountains. The holy month being is that we are in the time and the month of the birth of our mother, our grandma, the white shell woman, they call it. Asanat Lehe, Yoski Asanat Lehe, and she has made her presence known to us again. Preceding that, we had storms, we had snow, we had all sorts of things to give us the warning, or even just to give us a hint that she's coming to our four sacred mountains again. So what they get no has ashi ho what the chikesh the nano senigi anni da hit kha sabiyaj da hit kha ye da hojoni ye des khaz do dan chilo yehne de yoden da je lande da ado ba honol nanda da hojoni ye ho what the ebik out en sa keso. I came to this place again. Today we had some very good meetings, and one of the areas that I wanted to highlight today is this intellectual property, the World Intellectual Property Organization that is here there's a tribal consultation notice that was issued maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, and it's all over. But the surprising thing about it was that the reaction that we as Indian nations have made to this notice is very minimal. In one way or another, it's very sad. Maybe other nations have already put their comments in and everything, but let me speak for my nation. Usually when something so huge of an issue such as this, usually there are chapter meetings, maybe the Native American church organizations, and really the NACNA Association is the only one that have been talking about it up to now. And this involves the protection of our ceremonies. This involves the protection of our songs, our prayers, even our stories of who we are, of our immersion stories, even our puberty rites that we have, even the sand paintings and all of the dances and everything that defines and tells the world who we are. This is who we are. We're Native nations. So that part of it, it finally has come to light and is finally on the table before us to say, hey, we have to protect this. We can't just be free with it. We can't, and even worse yet, we can't just sell it either. This is something so important to us. And so the Native American Church of North America have been advocating this for going about 2-3 years now. And it seems to me that we woke up some people here in D.C., we woke up some people beyond D.C. as well to say that, hey, this is important to this race of people here. Perhaps that maybe we can give them a mechanism in either for them to tell us exactly what their thoughts and their feelings are, but we have to do it with a word of caution as well. Our word of caution is that, wait a minute, why are you interested in this now? Why are you asking these questions now? Why do you want to know, or even yet make a mechanism so that we could talk about it? We always have to have a word of caution in there as well. But the vehicle is here now. We need to take advantage of that. To say that, and it's very simple. It's not like that. It's not complex or intricate. It's plain and simple. There are a good number of our culture values, our good culture teachings, a good number of our ceremonies, songs, and prayers that is not for sale. We still hold that secret in here, only for us to know. That still is a fact today. It still is a fact today. We have to continue to conceal and keep confidential a lot of these things that we have here today. Now look at what happened. We're up here advocating for the preservation and protection of our NACNA, our peyote, our Native American church ceremonies. We have to do that for two things, for two reasons. Number one is the fact that the mainstream American society seems to be blind, deaf, and ignorant after first contact, that they still refuse to learn and educate themselves about who we are. Still yet today, we have to teach, we have to educate elected leaders here in D.C. about why this medicine is sacred. What do we mean by sacred? We're not talking about a religion. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about a way of life, a way of thought, a way of feelings, a way of addressing and communicating with our Creator, the protocols and the demeanors that go with it as well. That's because that's how we proceed and that's how we address one another. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about going to church every Sunday and then forgetting about everybody else and everything else. We're talking about the minute we open our eyes, the minute we go to sleep. This is our way of life. That's what we have to continue to advocate here. But think about it. Why is it that we have to continue to do that? Why is it that we have to continue to do that? Because the dominant society seems to refuse to do it. They refuse to understand it. And so that's what we're here for today, here in Washington, D.C. And that's the reason why this intellectual property, the public comments and the initiatives that have been started is so crucial and so important, because it's another vehicle to do that. It's another vehicle to finally tell the world and say, this is important, this is sacred, this is protected, this is confidential, it's not meant for everybody. And so, a segue off of my brother Ryan, what he's saying is that leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. How hard is it to understand that? To say that to understand and believe and listen to our Indian people and say, it wasn't never meant for you. It was not meant for you. If it was, they probably would have said something in Europe years ago, but it was never meant for you. And one of the reasons why this is so important to us also is this. This is the last piece of sovereignty that we have. The last piece. They've done taken our land. They've done tried to change our language. They've done to change everything. Even our forms of government. We call it a tribal government, but it's not a tribal government. It was a government that was forced upon us at gunpoint. That's what the tribal government we have here today. Our traditional forms of government is totally different. And so this is the last piece of sovereignty, the last piece of something that we hold dear to us that's left. And by golly, we are going to protect it. We are going to fight for it. And we're also here to build a coalition. We're building coalition with other tribal leaders. We're building coalition with other organizations such as the National Congress of American Indian. And interestingly, this morning, my brother and I were asked to talk to a youth tribal leadership program that they have through the Aspen Institute this morning. We both went over there, and there were about 80 young people from the different tribal nations that were there. And this is exactly what we talked about. It's your responsibility, not tomorrow. You're not tomorrow's leaders. You're a leader today. You're the leader of our ceremonies. You're the leader of our songs. You're the leader of protecting all of these things so that it stays native. That's what we talked about here today. A lot of times you hear your tomorrow's, no, your leadership begins now, today. That's what we talked about to them. And so we're building coalition here. And through that coalition building, I think that we have really gained a lot of traction to really stimulate the attention of a lot of the congressional senators and even the White House itself, to where we work on this proposed executive order that a lot has gone into it. A lot of prayers has gone into that to get to where we're at here today. And so that's what we've been doing here all week up to now. Even though it's only Tuesday, it seems like we've done a lot already. And we still have a lot more to do this week. So I encourage all of you out there. I especially want to encourage my Navajo Nation. Khajlata iste Joy Loban Sakis. Khadish Dalte. Da Igajish. Koye di nike na hagat nike so de zin nike ye nike het khad nike tsa ba wind nike tsa belaganich del shit shit khashtkha tole shit on na ashkha tole pesha hot tole azze ede pesha hot ne tole shana hanne tole nizio shana hanne tole di khwe no khad na pa hanne salahagi e shana hanne tole na so khad shi e khwe be peso de shi Nichete neye kont akuitje ja de la olie da kohate no gost ostach hostolit ostach is gazolit osto benatas disgin dat olit ko dige hey chikeno sendige shudene not ane da no senen hada ye no hazla da is okay hat khazina shada no senesha khashta hey do la itsata joel no do chico khodo ahbiado chico tinch teacher concati next week nada mogo be khodo na sosia hando nes dido what da hey dido ni what da di ni so ben khaho aten do it's da hasha la hey da tra ni kwai gelbes on was a show hey kwai da bet do ni kwai na sa da bet on what show hey da bet do ni sik anishi ya wonder rat sabala ho zandisha khal da da khasn da no sen da da so kwai ye da do ni jo il no den na khaban ses kes ka kodo ni khe khode he khonde ye kwai ye din hina haga nike hat khar nike za nike zad nike yin nike so de zen ye konde bechana ilga konde ye konde alle sana kinde nicht das der konde johanan so kedo senigi. So this is important to all the Indian nations. This is important. This is crucial. We're at a crucial time. And the crazy thing about it is that it's put right on the table here. Say, do and say something about it. You have an opportunity here, but yet we're too busy. Maybe we're too lazy. Maybe we don't even know what it is about. If that's the case, ask. Ask a question. Say, what is this about? Ask your lawyers. You pay them a lot of money. You trouble governments. Ask them. Ask your cultural experts. Ask them your historical preservation departments. Where are they? So that's crucial. The deadline is February the 23rd. We need to get those comments in. And it's very simple. This is for us. It's for nobody else. We need to protect this. Leave it alone. Because this is what was given to us by the Holy Spirit. For us to sustain us, to define us, to be whoever that we are here today. This is exclusively for us. That's what we're talking about here today. And so I wanted to make that very much known out there. And the other issue that we've addressed today is this whole concept about, along the same lines as well, is that our sacrament, Mescaline. We're just using the English language and we call it Mescaline. In my language, that's the way we say it. And so, when we say that in each of our languages here, the way that we address this medicine, it describes something about that medicine. What does it describe? It describes and addresses the Holy Spirit of it. The English language cannot give justice. You can't translate it. I just wish sometimes that these elected leaders could understand Navajo or maybe Shoshone Bannock or Mandan Hidatsa Arikara so that we can explain it to them. Because when you describe and explain it, especially when you put it into prayer, it's a very moving spiritual phenomenon. There is something unique and special in our prayers when we address our medicines, when we address this creation like that. So today we're caught up in this. It's mescaline, decriminalization, this and that. But what we're talking about is that Holy Spirit that's in that medicine, peyote. And you cannot clone it. Don't even try to clone it. Don't even try to sell it. Because it was never meant for you. You will never come close to that contact that we have when we take that smoke and we address that medicine with our own language. That's what we're talking about here this week here on the Hill once more, because it's important, because it's crucial. We have to begin to utilize the laws of the federal government, the laws of the state government, to begin to redefine that. And it's very interesting where the American Indian Religious Freedom Act had already addressed it 30 years ago. 30 years ago, somebody thought of it over here. 30 years ago, they meant peyote. They talked about the whole plant, the whole spirit, all of it. They didn't talk about, okay, well, there's going to be a molecular part of it. We're going to take the atoms and the electrons off of it. And they didn't talk it like that. They talked about peyote as one. And that's what we need to keep it as. And so those forces that are out there who think that they can extract mescaline, put peyote over here, and then put mescaline over here, you have another thing coming. Because that's not the way it is. And by golly, we are going to create and develop a coalition to address this. Remember what they did at Little Bighorn? Several tribes came together, remember that? We still have the same spirit because we all have something in common. That is our medicine. That is our Native American church ceremony. For a lot of tribes out there, it's the last known piece of culture. They've lost their languages. They don't really have their ceremonies anymore. But they have the peyote. They have their peyote ceremonies. It's bringing their language back. It's bringing their cultural protocols and demeanors back. It's bringing their identity in so many ways back. Ceremonial identity, spirituality, spiritual identity. That's the reason why we're building this coalition. And that's what we've been doing and advocating once more this week here on the Hill. And we're going to continue to do that. And we appreciate all of your prayers. I know that a lot of our relatives from back home, you tell us, I'm going to say a prayer for you. I'm going to burn some cedar for you, burn some sweetgrass for you. That's what you all say, and we surely appreciate it because it gives us strength. It gives us direction. It gives us clarity. Believe it or not, we can feel that here today, just like this gentleman that expressed himself earlier during the session. He said, I could feel the spirit of this peyote here. I could feel the spirit of this Holy Spirit here as we talk about all of this. So I'm all for it. I'm all in it all the way. And I quoted one of the leaders of the American Indian Religious Freedom Act amendments 30 years ago. Called him my uncle, Reuben Snake, when he was alive. And I'm going to quote him. The last words that he said during the Senate Indian Affairs Committee hearings during that time, he quoted Edmund Burke. And what he quoted there was very interesting, and I believe that that's kind of the spirit that we're in here today. And what he said was this: the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. I sternly believe that that's what Spirit is carrying us through, regardless, because this is so important to us, so crucial to our existence as Native tribes. And we can't just stand by and just watch it. ako hia adeshi isno sa o hono ua ze chuino o ua hatkhado na kha o ua to na agasho na kha o ha ua e ze lenigi e chuino ze na skied wol yehegi ndat ya e ketlo za nishtan lenigi e ben tahosado e ben hikentahagado e yenotla jo e hot ago I kha ndlenigi ket andan ndlenigi o khayuj e dit atipilitzi e ye bechahdi ne ye chikeno ndlenigi akod e ya e hya ade so de zemben khanas nehigi hya ade ben higa so zindagi a khoda te o a khot edato ndlenigi e be hya ben kha hen sin dit nek ashe yashtki ebenina a beninani ade is not sa o yid nanos ne ade la howade got aga da is not sa ebenina a got ade hya hidini do this anosko. That's all I want to say, brother. Thank you.
Okay. I want to thank the goodness of my legislative chair, my legal counsel. I want to thank everyone out there on Facebook land that are all in social media. You know, everything we do, like we always been doing for the past 3 years, is being transparent and accountable for all what NACNA has been doing. So we all wish you the best, all your families, all the chapters that are affiliated with the national organization. I want to thank my officers, the delegates at large. I want to thank them and all the chapters affiliated. You know, we'll all be looking forward to in a few days down in Peyote Gardens at Laredo, Miranda City. We're going to be going down there and making some good informational and some more prayers here for our continuous efforts here. So once again, may you all have a good rest of the springtime's coming around the corner. A good happy Indian New Year to each and every one of you. And all those that are making travels to Texas, good traveling mercies. My nephew Wombly is en route at the moment, so safe travels. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. And look forward here to our Facebook page. We're getting a lot of interviews from different Native American church roadmen and waterwomen and different individuals, tribal government. And we're going to be showing that here on the Facebook page. So we need everyone's involvement. In I want to say invite to each and every one of you Native American Church members to the June convention in Winnebago, co-hosting with Omaha down in Winnebago, Father's Day weekend. You know, it'll be the 30 years, the ARFA, so it'll be the 75th annual. So, man, let's make it a good event. Kind of, I want to be there kind of attitude, you know, and how good and awesome it would be for all of us to unite in prayer, you know, make these good efforts here as Native American Church relatives. So with that being said, God bless each and every one of you, and good happiness and good goodness can be bestowed upon each and every one of you. And shout outs to our Fort Berthold Native American Church chapter and all the membership out there. So say about that much, good relatives. Thank you. Ho.
Can I turn it off?
Yeah, you want to say?
Huh?
Want to say a little bit?
I'll just so you go say that.
Yeah.
I think you can see me. Yeah, hello everyone. Lewan Tyler Timdoish, the Shobanic Tribe's chairman. It's a great honor to be amongst these great men here. And the Creator, with prayers from the old ones, our ancestors, brought us here together. That's how I see it. The prayers always do that. They unite us. And so with all this powerful words that were said, and we're still advocating, tomorrow's going to be another day. We got our letters from our people, from us, it's going to be addressed tomorrow, and we can hand out to other representatives, and from our Native American Church, Shobanic Tribes, Fort Hull chapter. So we're really honored and humbled to be here, like everybody said. So with that, I'm gonna sing a quick song, if you guys don't mind, to help us out here. Listen to our prayers. This is the way we pray. Humbly we pray. humbly we pray to you, humbly. Holy Mother Earth, Holy Father Sky, send us your wonderful blessings. Holy Spirit, hey ya, hey ya, no, hey ya, hey ya, no, hey ya, hey ya, no, ya no, hey ya, no, hey ya. No me daga na sugan, wo way natsu. Nemishunde hai gan hiona hi Nemasovia Nemadubana Nala suga nemenuanai Mowe natsu Nemishunde hai Wijuna hey. God bless you all. Have a great time, great evening. Thank you.
Good one.
Okay, should I turn it off? Okay, we're done. Finish. Huh? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Signing off.